Now, I want you to give me your honest reaction when I show you this video.
What the fuck is that? Oh, you guys right here.
If this has ever been you, then don't worry. League is a complex game and it can be difficult to get started in, or even just watch somebody play, which is why I'm here to help you out. League of Legends is a 5v5 team game where the objective is to blow up this shiny thing because you hate shiny things. Unless that shiny thing is gold, which you love. Makes sense? Good, moving on. There are 144 characters to pick from in League of Legends, so you really can just take your pick of whatever calls to you. Whether you be an edgelord, a basic bitch, or maybe just a furry. Hey, no judgment here. Judgment-free zone. There's a character that speaks to your soul. I've broken down this video to its core elements so you can skip ahead if you already know something, or you can jump back and review something in case you forgot what I was said because you're too busy browsing Tinder. I know what you're doing right now. I can see into your soul. Roles. In League, there are many different roles you can play, but there are 5 basic roles that form the sweet, succulent, nubile structure of your team. The top laner, the isolated one. If you enjoy a straight 1v1, then top lane might be the home for you. Top laners are generally comprised of big tanky meatball champions or bruiser champions that are like a half a meatball, and then you cut the other half of the meatball off and you replaced it with a bunch of knives. Top lane is all about making advantages for yourself without the help of anybody else because you are a strong independent nutsack who don't need no balls. Some good starting tank top laners would include Sion and Poppy. As a bruiser, Darius, Garen, and Kled. Jungler, the sneaky beaky one. As a jungler, you farm in between the lanes and help your teammates out in killing their lane opponents and making the map not so dark and spooky. As a jungler, you have the most influence over the early part of the game, leading to massive snowball effects that steamroll your opponents into massive victories. If you like intellectual play, then jungle might be your home. Some good starting junglers would be Master Yi, Amumu, and Udyr. Mid lane, the flashes of glory. 1. Mid lane is filled with action and ego. Mid lane is mostly split into high damage assassins and high damage mages. This lane balances on a knife's edge and usually receives the most attention from both teams. If you think you're cut out to deal enough damage to wipe off the enemy team from the face of the rift, while also being under constant threat, then hey, give it a try. Some good starting mid laners as an assassin would be Talon, Fizz. Yeah, that's about it. Most of the assassins are hard to play. As mages, Annie, Morgana, and Lissandra. ADC or bot lane. 1. As the ADC, you have the biggest ego on the rift and the smallest HP pool. But you do a lot of damage from range, which can single-handedly win the game for your team, or because of your small HP pool, you get caught out and lose it for your team. Want to be the star of the show? Well, try out some ADCs and see what you like. Good starting ADCs include Ashe, Caitlyn, and Tristana. Support, the unsung hero. 1. Is this joke getting old yet? I feel like it's getting old. As a support, you will win the game constantly for your friends through smart play, maybe getting a few kills of your own, but mostly helping out your weak and pathetic ADC get kills because they're too weak early to do it themselves. If you enjoy being a playmaker, shot caller, big baller, then support is the place for you. Some good starting ballers would include Leona, Soraka, and Lulu. With your character in mind, you're ready to hit that big old play button. No, that's a whole other game, you silly head. Future video on how to play that? Maybe? If you leave a comment about it down below? Maybe? When greeted with this screen, you can select the champion you intend to play so that way your teammates don't ban them. Also, you can ban a champion that you hate. Like for instance, I will almost always ban Renekton, because Renekton is an overpowered piece of shit character that only simple-minded humans play because they can't be bothered to learn a character with interesting matchups or counterplay. When your turn comes around, you can pick the champion you intend on playing for the next 30 minutes to an hour, given that nobody has already banned or picked them. Also, you can pick your summoner spells and runes here. Flash is the standard spell, but after that you can really just pick whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. Early game. Oh yeah. When you load into the game, you'll be able to level up one of your spells, which is the flashy thing that makes your character do stuff. Be careful though, when you run out of this blue Kool-Aid, you won't be able to make your character do stuff anymore. Unless you're playing a basic bitch of a character that is literally only held back by cooldowns, which is fixed by buying one item, making them an almost unstoppable 1v1 machine. Also, when you load into the game, you'll see these three things called lanes. Top lane, mid lane, and bottom lane. And a dark spooky area in between those three called the jungle. When you run down one of these lanes, you will pass one of these good boys called towers. When you get out into the middle of the lane, you will be in sort of a no man's land. Just wait for those small sacks of gold to spawn in and run towards you so they can die to you, feeding you money. How will they die to you, may ask? Well, you can kill them easily by right-clicking and auto-attacking them when they're on low health. Make sure to get the last hit on them though, otherwise you won't get any of the gold. After one wave, you'll be able to level up another spell. But you'll notice that one spell is unavailable until level 6. This is your ult, or ultimate ability. It's generally your best spell and has the longest cooldown. Now, some time has passed, and you've killed some of those small things that could possibly be only children in masks. Congratulations! You can now push the B button on your keyboard to return to base. This refills your HP bar and your blue Kool-Aid bar. You can also buy items from these fine fellows. Every item in the game does something different, so for now it's best to buy what the game tells you to. You can get spicy with experimentations later. Now return to your lane and keep killing those small children. I mean the minions. Or you could try to kill the other player that's been pestering you this whole time. To kill your lane opponents, use auto attacks and spells to hit them to lower their HP bar to 0 before they can do the same to you. Simple, right? Now you could also call your friends in to come and help you out because you're a little bitch and can't do it by yourself. When they do inevitably come to help you, this is called a gank. Why is it called a gank? Who the fuck knows or cares? Moving on. If all goes well, you have the opportunity to auto-attack the enemy towers to get gold. Notice that they attack the first thing that enters the range of them, so make sure your minions are in front of you when you go up to do this. Also take note that if you attack any enemies under them, they don't like that very much. Whoosh. Hey man, don't do that.
Tactical nuke incoming!
After you or your teammates kill a few towers, we get to move on to the mid-game. In the mid-game phase, you'll want to be grouped with your team to fight the baddies and kill enemy towers and also dragons, which give your team bombs. Use these things called wards to light up dark places on the map. Generally, bushes are a good place to nestle their little anuses in. I like that. Also, when running around with your team, you can try to get a pick, meaning you find an enemy all alone and gangbang them with your crowd control so they can't run away. During the mid-game, you will most likely have team fights, where a lot of the hype moments of League of Legends come into fruition. During a team fight, it's important to know your role. Are you a large fat man or lady? Again, no discrimination here. Well, use your giant CC spells, that stands for crowd control by the way, to lock up your opponents and protect your teammates. Are you a stabby edgelord? Of course you are, you predictable little shit. Wait until the team fights break out and then try to flank your opponents, catching the enemy team off guard and killing the high priority targets. Maybe you're a mage or a shooty McShoot-a-man. Then your job is to stay alive and damage as many people as you can as safely as possible. Don't run up first. Let the big squishy boys go first. Let the big meatballs go in front of you, then walk up. Don't walk up to the enemies by yourself. Please, I'm begging. So now you've won a few big fights, maybe killed some towers and some dragons. Congratulations, you've made it to late game. Late game is almost exactly like the mid game, but with bigger consequences. The goal of the stage is to kill a few enemies, pick a couple objectives, whether that be a tower, a dragon, or this big old sneaky boy right here called the Baron. Baron buffs your small children, making them stronger, which in turn makes it easier to kill the towers, and also these things called inhibitors. These will make you spawn super minions, which will help you push down the lane to kill the giant big shiny thing at the end of the lane called the Nexus, winning you the game. Congratulations, you have now played game of League of Legends. If all went well, you won, but more than likely you suck and lost. Which is okay. No, it really is okay. You will lose a lot in League of Legends. It's a complicated game and your teammates will feed 90% of the time. But don't give up. It's much like learning a new language. You learn a little bit, you think you have it down, then somebody runs up to you, starts yelling words at you, and waits for you to respond, and you think it sounds familiar, but you honestly have no idea what they're saying, and you don't know whether you should punch them in the face and run, scream and run, or just curl up into a ball and cry and wait for death. Totally not speaking from experience here. This is completely hypothetical. 100% hypothetical. Now, there are much more complicated things in League of Legends, like team composition, rotations, playing around power spikes, freezing, jungle pathing, slow pushing, fast pushing. Okay. You get the point. There's a lot to this game. And you're probably going to have some questions, so feel free to drop by my live stream and ask me some. I stream Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Link will be in the description down below. It's twitch.tv/FlyingWalrusMan. See you there. Or you could just wait for me to make a video about it. Either or. Okay, look. MOBAs are popular for a reason, and League of Legends especially so. You will be hard-pressed to find a more polished, consistently updated, and enjoyable competitive game out there. We don't talk about him. Don't look at him. Don't look at him, he'll go away. Once you start your journey, and you start climbing that massive mountain of a skill learning curve, you will eventually crest the beautiful mountain and see an amazing sunrise of a fun game. With an incredibly toxic player base, I can't help you out with them. You're on your own now. Hoodles!